This is the Throttle Out Show presented by Vixen Industries, the only show where monster truck drivers and mechanics come together to present what's happening in the monster truck community. It's the ultimate combination of torque, horsepower, and trash talk. And now for your hosts. First, straight out of the heart of Detroit Rock City, it's Kid Rock's neighbor and former driver of the BKT ride truck. It's Austin Spence. And the duo deep in the heart of Texas, it's the show owner and daughter of a man who conquered the industry for over 20 years. It's Harley Johnson, along with everyone's favorite Bryce Kenny lookalike, Austin Tweedy. So go ahead, fuel up, strap in, and remember, when in doubt, throttle out.
To the best fans of motorsports, how big? What's up from the studio here in Rockwall, Texas? Kind of a chilly, windy kind of a day, but it's all good.
Your first day back in the studio, right? From the past week?
First day back is a little bit warmer than what it was up north.
A lot warmer than it was.
A lot warmer. Still not the greatest weather, though, but it was all right. We're back in the studio. We're going to have a great Monday. I mean, Monday is over with. We started the week off, and no matter how bad your day was, no matter how whatever, hopefully it was a good day, but if it was a bad day, it's over with. We're ready to muscle on, get this week over with. We had some great monster truck action this past weekend, Supercross action. Our boy Austin Spence was out at the show, the toughest monster truck tour. We got a very special guest joining us in just a few moments. We're going to be talking about some Monster Jam stuff. We're going to be talking about what's going on with our fantasy points, what's going on around the league, the latest in the monster truck world.
Yeah.
Cooper and both Spence and Cooper will not be joining us tonight, just so everybody is clear. Cooper
you just get to look at these faces all night long.
And our guest that we're going to bring on. Cooper's out probably buying a house or is just spending a lot of money. The guy makes way too much money for his own good. And then you got Austin Spence, who's headed out on the road with his drag racing team right now.
I believe Spence is watching right now. He's in the chat. He's in the chat with everybody tonight. So.
Speaking of chat, what's going on, James Trantina? Glad you're watching tonight. What's going on, Dan's Monsters Adventures? Lee Plato, hope you're doing all right, my man. Hope y'all are doing good out there on the West Coast. Glad to hear from y'all tonight. Paige Johnson, everybody else in the chat. Andrew Harris, what's up, man? I might be able to hear you if I just go open up the back door over there. What's going on, Andrew? Hope you're doing good, my man. And Harley, got a great guest hanging out with us tonight for the first time on the show. He gets to hang out with us. This has actually been a long time in the making. We want to talk to this guy. Guy's been driving. We were just talking before the show. He's been, I guess, driving now, or at least started his own team for the past 8 years now. Can't believe it's been that long. Dominating out on the toughest monster truck tour. The owner and driver of DCT Power Sports, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on the show, Mr. Jerry Beck. What's going on, my friend?
Not much. How you guys doing? It's pretty exciting.
Hey, we can't complain, man. I mean, I guess we can. We wish it was a little bit warmer where we're at, but it's probably a lot colder where you're at, if I had to guess.
Yeah, it was 70 on Saturday and 36 today. Hopefully it'll warm up.
Yeah, I guess that ain't so bad. Jerry, first of all, it's an honor to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us. You've been dominated on the toughest monster truck tour. Tell us a little bit about what goes on that tour. In our humble opinions on the show, we think the toughest tour has got to be the best damn arena show for monster trucks out on the circuit. You've been running that tour for a little while now. Kind of let us in on what it's like to really pilot a truck on that tour.
Well, the crazy thing is, I've never really done anything else, especially indoors. I don't believe I've ever done an indoor show for anybody other than Brian Manson and Kelly. It's what I grew up on, and it's so funny because we'll have other drivers come in and they're like, "You guys are crazy," and I'm like, "Well, it's just another weekend right here."
Now, Harley's got a question she's wanting to ask you over here. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, Jerry, why monster trucks? What brought you into monster trucks over like any other motorsport?
Oh boy, it's a long story. So, fresh out of high school, I did a lot of tractor pulling, and then it got out of hand. So it was time to do something different. So I I don't know, around '05 probably, I built a rock crawler. We used to travel all over the country rock crawling competitively. A lot of people tell me that my driving style reflects the rock crawling because I just I watch my lines a lot more than some people, I think.
Yeah.
And we have the off-road park in Attica here, the Badlands. If you guys are in off-road, and that's definitely something you need, it's worth the drive to check out. I built an outdoor arena there, and at that first show, we were talking about Kermit earlier. Kermit had his 2 trucks there, and I was sitting down talking to B. Walker for the first time. Didn't know anything about monster trucks, nothing. And I was fascinated about that. And I was talking to Jimmy. He's like, yeah, we get paid to do this. So I was like, wow, really? And then my light bulb came on. And literally for about 2 weeks, I walked around the house trying to think of if I was going to do monster trucks. I'd already decided that it was an entertainment thing and that I needed to appeal to the kids. So I was do. And thought about it. And the kids were in love with that ice cream truck, and it's cool. One day my son, at the time, I think he was about 3 years old, he was on a one of them little 4-wheelers that you push around, and I was like, that's it, I'm gonna build a 4-wheeler. And my wife, God love her, she's like, yeah, let's. I think at the time we were 32 years old. I'm like, if we don't do this, we'll wander for the rest of our life. If we didn't do this, will somebody else do it? And I was just blessed with the resources to be able to buy 2 different people out. And then I got my saws out and pile and literally built that 4-wheeler out of plywood in my garage. That's how it all started. Short version.
That's the short version. And now I got a question just because of somebody's comment down in the comment section. You go out and you do these toughest tours, and you're out there rocking the house. You got the crowd on the edge of their seat. Do you ever hear the Jerry Springer chants, the Jerry, Jerry?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, bro. No, in 8 years, I've never heard that.
Now, over here at our show, Jerry, we always enjoy it. We're about to start a whole segment on the show where it's called Stirring the Pot. We really like to get in, create some controversy, just get some chit-chat going around the monster truck community. And I think something that everybody who's watching tonight wants to know, and you don't have to go into full detail, Jerry, but a few years ago, okay, when you brought out the Dirt Crew monster truck, and then it wasn't too much longer after that, another company out there had to make their own basically Dirt Crew monster truck. Kind of let us in on that whole ordeal. I mean, was that just something that just really pissed you off to your core? Was it something that you were up for the challenge of trying to make a better piece of equipment, a better truck for the fans? I mean, what was really going on during that whole time?
I was raised that imitation is the best form of flattery. So, but even back it up before that, I got a phone call from said company's booking agent, and he said, hey, Jerry, he goes, I got to tell you something. I'm like, all right, what's up? And keep in mind, the only thing I'd ever done for him was World Finals displays out in Vegas.
Okay.
And he goes, we're building a dump truck. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. And I can't remember if I asked them what they were going to call it or not, but they called me, believe it or not. It was about a week or so before they debuted. And, I think it's cool. And like I told him when he called me, it's no different than watching Brutus run with the company trucks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think that has the exact same story that I have. So, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about what other people are doing. You got to play your game.
And that's a good point.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people tend to forget that, the history with the dog trucks,
Yeah.
starting out with Brutus and then obviously the company going and starting Monster. That's a good point, Jerry. Now let's talk about your competition this year on the toughest tour. There's no slackers. You got your work cut out for you. Let's start off with talking about our friend Tim Jones. We just recently made friends with this guy. Definitely got a really interesting piece of equipment. Good truck. But very different combination on that truck, Jerry. Why don't you talk just a little bit about your competition and Tim Jones? Because I know that guy gives you a run for your money each and every weekend.
Oh yeah. Well, me and Tim are buddies. If we don't talk at least 3 times a week, something's going on. We're always comparing notes. I'm ragging on him about building Ford motors. And, just a couple weeks ago, we had to do a motor swap before the weekend even started. He blew up his motor before he got in the building. So,
Oh,
I jumped up. We helped him swap it. I mean, there's so much love on our tour, even though damn, we have a good time.
and then we were talking about him just a little bit before the show. We're going to have to talk about it now. So everybody here is just talking about him. The crew guy that y'all call Chubbs. Let's talk about Chandler West a little bit. Because Chandler, we all know he got his foot in the door down there in Florida, made his way up to y'all. And it looks like he's been a great addition to your team.
He has. I know he's really looking forward to driving a lot this summer. We've got a ton of throwdown shows that he's going to be doing.
Yeah.
There's some exciting things. Chaos coming out. Chandler drove a little bit last year. He learned what not to do real quick, and I know, and if he keeps soaking it up, I look for him to be one of these next generation drivers that they can run on the ragged edge like Little Garner and Little Zimmer and Menninga and all them. Those guys, to me, that's the next level.
Yeah, always pushing the boundaries. And I mean, like you said, you said he learned what not to do real quick. When you've seen those highlights from him out there pushing the limits of the truck, trying to find that sweet spot. Harley, why don't you go ahead and play the highlights from this past week, and we'll kind of let Jerry talk in his own words. This past weekend, the toughest tour. And like you said, you've had no shortage of attendance at all your shows. Y'all have been having some jam-packed crowds.
Oh yeah, it was. I think 2 of the 3 shows this weekend were sold out. You had Kamikaze. He ended up with half a body gone. Tim Jones, he killed Tailgater, and I crashed mine on the first. It's a hard running little mini stadium tour, I'd say.
I mean, essentially, that's what you're looking at. I mean, your ramps, they go freaking straight up and down on this tour. I think a lot of people, I mean, if you're, for people who like to keep up with Monster Jam, right? Because Monster Jam, they do a really good job of getting the brand out there, getting it on TV or just, stirring up through social media. And then for a monster truck fan who's never seen a toughest tour, really takes them by surprise when they see y'all going straight up and down, catching the air that y'all do, really putting the trucks through the work. And this may just start over just now. But Jerry, these tracks are no joke. And I'll start with what I'm about to, or lead us in this next conversation by saying this. A few years ago, or I guess 2018, you might remember this, Jerry. My dad was out on tour with y'all driving an older Bigfoot truck. Went, crashed, first hit, and freestyle. And a lot of that is attributed to not necessarily, I mean, really that truck shouldn't have been out there, but those tracks are no joke. Shooting you straight up in the air. How long did it take you to get used to the course there at the toughest monster truck tour?
Oh man. I can't tell you how many times I rolled over backwards in that first couple of years. I mean, I don't know how terrible a driver I was, but it had to have been bad. Because all we did was roll. And then rear ends. Oh my, I don't know how many F-106s I broke out there hitting those tires. It's like hitting walls. And then that's where, we changed rear ends somewhere around 5 or 6 years ago, and I have yet to break one. And that hands down is the best money I ever spent on these old trucks.
I was gonna say you got some big third members now in your truck.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're the same ones that are in our hauler. So that if you build a new truck, you don't put these in it, you're just wasting your money. I mean, I truly believe that, hands down.
So let me ask you this, Jerry. We know a little bit now. We're kind of catching up to where you're at now in the sport. What's the future for DCT Power Sports? You got something up your sleeve there you haven't really told anybody just yet, or looking down the road, what would you like to see happen with your team?
Oh yeah, you're gonna see some stuff. It's there's gonna be some name changing. You're gonna see some new fiberglass roll out this summer.
Okay.
That is gonna be pretty off the hook. Don't know where we're gonna debut that yet. Was talking to some people in the summer. It's probably going to end up. I don't know if it's going to be at a big show or at. I don't know where we're going to do it yet. But there's some big stuff coming.
Well, I mean, just even a year or so. I guess it's been 2 years now. You brought Bailey Shea back, pilot the Quad Chaos. You changed the colors on the truck. Aaron Kane drove the truck very well for a long time. Obviously, no shortage of victories with the Dirt Crew truck. I mean, you're keeping the fans on the edge of their seat, man. We appreciate what you're doing over there with Team DCT. And, Jerry, we wish you nothing but the best. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, Jerry.
Hey, no problem.
But, Jerry, we will be talking to you soon. We're going to wrap up some other stuff over here. Thank you for joining us, my friend. And we'll be catching you down the road at the next one, my man.
Right on. Thanks for having me.
All right, boss. Peace out. Tell Chandler we said hey. All right, y'all. That was a good conversation with that guy, man.
It was.
Yeah, we're totally missing.
And thanks to Spence, for the footage tonight.
Yeah, that comes straight from our guy up there. We had cameras out in the audience this past weekend. Now check this out, y'all. I want to wish a very special happy birthday to Samantha Walker. Her and her man watch our show each and every week, every show, and we wish you nothing but the best, Samantha. I hope you had a great day. Hope your guy took care of you. Hope he treated you well. Hope he didn't just fix you a cup of ramen noodles and call it good. Hopefully he wined and dined you. Y'all had a great
Is that what
night.
you're going to do to me on my birthday?
Yes. We're going to go out to fancy dinner at Whataburger. She's going to get a sweet, spicy bacon burger, large. It's going to be
if that's my birthday dinner, I don't know about that. That's gonna
she's kicking me under the table right now. And don't forget, y'all, this Saturday is Harley's birthday, so put that in your calendars. The 12th is her birthday.
And
what
to the people in the comments, yes, I know we haven't changed our calendar yet. That's like a last minute thought, like when we're prepping for the show, and we realize it now that we're live. Oh, we better change it now.
Yeah, I actually got a lot of stuff I need to write down up there too for next month. But really going back to what I was saying, this weekend is her birthday. Make sure you tell her happy birthday back. What I'm trying to say is don't let me forget that it's her birthday. No. Other than that, let's talk a little bit, Harley. Before we get into all the monster truck recap, let's talk about something that has really kind of took you and I by storm this year, and that's Supercross. We started off, the first show of the year was in Anaheim. Just happened to be home. We caught the first race, and we were like instantly hooked. Okay. Yeah. We've been keeping up with it. We went to the Arlington show last weekend or the weekend before last.
Yep.
The racing was great. It was probably the best racing we've seen all season. We got to be there, got to witness that, and watch a rivalry kind of. And it's been going on, I guess, for a little while, but
it was new to us.
Things got and it got really heated at the show, and that is between Malcolm Stewart and was it Jason Anderson?
Jason Anderson,
that's his name.
Yep.
And then without a freaking doubt, it continued this past weekend in Daytona. The track
Part 2 this weekend.
The track there was freaking sweet though. I don't know how to explain it other than the course was a very, very fast course. They had some big jumps, and then it's like coming into the final last 2 jumps, you had what they call the wall jump. And it was literally like you hit a little baby jump straight into a freaking run into a brick wall. Very interesting course.
I think it's the most challenging course for them out of their season, is what they were saying.
It's one of the oldest races in the history of Supercross, in the action. I mean, there's no shortage of action on it. Jet Lawrence, the guy in the 250 East class, came out in Arlington and had a great night up until the last race. And then he wrecked early in the race, come all the way back, and then got wrecked again. The guy that he ran into broke his collarbone. It was very unfortunate, but it came out this past weekend, and Jet kicked some freaking ass in his class.
Yeah, he took the lead pretty early on and had it in the bag.
Just had it.
Immediately.
Yeah, just had it. And then going into the 450 SX class, Malcolm Stewart, Jason Anderson, no shortage of drama in their race. They both try to knock each other off. And Harley, they both got penalized this past week.
Yeah, they both got docked a position down, from where they were. So no unsportsmanlike conduct, And
then obviously the future Hall of Famer in the making. We're talking about E3 Eli Tomac going out and winning his 6th ever Supercross at Daytona. That's huge. He now holds the record for most victories at Daytona, at the Daytona track.
Yep.
Only beating Ricky Carmichael. Has been tied with him for the past couple of years ago, and then broke that record this past weekend. We got to watch history be made. It was awesome. Supercross, no shortage of action right now. The racing, obviously, Harley, very competitive. It's hard to believe that Monster Jam and Supercross are under the same roof, but they are. We have hopes that Monster Jam will change up a few things here in the near future, kind of bring racing back to where monster trucks began. It all started with monster trucks competing head to head, and now it's turned into freestyle. And you want to know about what more on our side? We've been talking about this behind the scenes, been laughing about it. We didn't post this, but if you go to Cooper Knuckles' Instagram, okay, y'all go to his Instagram right now. Go look up the Poncho Man's Instagram and see the video he just posted. It's an interview with Dennis Anderson. Scott Douglas is interviewing Dennis way back in the day, and Dennis is predicting, and in the future, what he's looking down the road, and he's seeing monster trucks becoming a lot like NHRA drag racing. And then Cooper puts in, well, this is really what monster trucks is right now. Pretty comical, not gonna lie. Coop, we miss you. I hope y'all found a place.
Are liking your beard, honey.
Hey, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. I actually have not let my beard get this long, I think, ever. My pops was complimenting me on that. He hates when I have a beard, and he actually complimented me this past weekend. And then
nice.
you got Spence down there in the comment section hanging out with us. And then I guess we can get to talking about some monster trucks. We could talk. Let's start off. Let's kind of reel everybody into the action this past weekend. See, I hung out with the guys up at Triple B Motorsports all last week. Had a great time. Got to meet everybody up there. Got to know everybody extremely well. See pieces of history. It was like walking in, like I explained on last year. It was literally like walking into a different monster truck Hall of Fame. You get goosebumps. For me, it was a religious experience. It was a spiritual moment watching the freaking body lift up on USA 1. Hearing those Predators just making a lot of noise. It was a good time. And I get done with that. I fly into Texas. Harley and my daughter pick me up. We head on down to South Texas and hang out with our buddy Joe Sylvester in the High Octane Coffee Bad Habit Relapse. Little exhibition going on down there in the middle of freaking nowhere. It was actually
literally in the middle of nowhere.
I loved it. I thought it was awesome. You go out, when you go out through Texas, there's really a whole lot of nothing to see, right? And then you get into their neck of the woods, a lot of big, tall trees, like you're driving through the forest. You even stated it's kind of like driving through Northern California with the big ass trees.
With the big trees everywhere. Yeah.
You're driving through a forest, you're driving through, and you land in a freaking dirt track. Pablo and Tina Huffaker were there. Got to hang out with them. The Basil twins were there with their truck. And then obviously Joey with his. Joey gave some rides, sold some merch. And then it came down time to do the whole exhibition deal. One of the Basil twins goes out and lays down a pretty decent run. I'm not going to lie. He was catching some freaking air. He could have jumped over 3 or 4 trucks. He was really putting the truck through the works. Then Joey goes out. He's kind of getting warmed up. Gets a couple, 3 or 4 hits. Maybe not even 4 hits. He gets about 3 hits under his belt. Goes to pop her up into a nice little stoppie. Get a little bit of practice. Just noses it over a little too far. Rolls over.
Now, I couldn't see what was going on, but I could hear what was going on, and I knew something bad had happened if I just immediately heard the truck just stop.
You understand. You know what you're listening for. But the crowd loved it, though. The crowd got way more than they bargained for. They got to see a truck go and air it all out, make loud noises. You got to see a truck go up for a stoppie and then a rollover. Fans love that. I mean, especially when you're at a dirt track race. Fans were expecting that. And it was a really good time. We got to hang
Spence
out.
thinks there's something in common with us hanging out with Joey, that something bad happens to his truck.
That's not entirely true, okay? First night hanging out with Joey, we had great success. Okay,
So it's
I don't
me.
want to hear it. Yeah, it would be you.
It would be me then. Okay, I'll just stop going.
You can't come to the shows
I'll
anymore.
just stop going then.
But y'all go check out the Bad Habit merch. This is actually a really cool hat. I like this right here. I don't know what this is exactly, but whatever it is freaking sweet. What's that? Then, like I said, hung out with Triple B Motorsports, and then let's talk about our fantasy points, because I know Spence is watching, and he wants to know how well he did this past weekend. Harley, I think you should.
I'm sorry. That's all I can say. Spence, you're pretty much done for the season unless you can change probably your whole lineup of drivers on your team. But, if you can make up 400 points, until World Finals, I don't know if you can do it.
Bury the Planetary Pounders. Team PP.
Team PP is not on the rise.
Rest in peace. Now, Harley, how did you and Coop and myself do this past weekend?
Now, Coop is in third place. He did pretty well this weekend. And then I am still, I don't think the positions changed from last week.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, actually, me and Coop switched. We've been doing that like every week. Okay, so me and Coop switched, so he's in third, I'm in second now. And then, of course, this guy's over here in first. But, with Todd's tour going on a break, that's going to affect your points.
Yeah, but it's going to affect everybody's points, so you got to think about it like that. We've all got somebody on that tour. So, I don't know. I almost think it kind of levels the playing field. I hate it because Todd's getting me some great points. He's second on his tour. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. They've got damn near a month-long break on their tour. Or if they're not touring, they're going to be doing arena shows, so it doesn't count towards our fantasy points. So, there's that. Now, Harley Joe, go ahead and start us off with a video. Just some highlights from this past week, and I'll let you pick. Go ahead.
Alrighty. Well, let's go into this. Might be a controversial topic, right?
Controversial?
Yeah, with this first video clip right here.
Oh, my word.
I'm just going to stop it after the clip's done.
Okay, y'all. Thoughts on this? Yeah, just pause it. Thoughts on this? We'll want to know in the comment section what you thought about this hit. I can tell you right now, Cody's going to be getting a lot of backlash from the higher-ups for this. I want to know what y'all think, okay? If you're asking me personally, if we go back and watch this one more time, Harley, you see him come up, he gets tripped up. Doesn't seem like such a bad deal, but the truck just takes a weird hop. If you're listening to him listen to Cody on the throttle, he's not being out of control with the truck. He's not driving reckless, okay? The truck took a weird hop. You got these stupid freaking pods in arenas anyways that make the truck do all kinds of weird shit.
I feel like it was kind of out of his control a little bit. The truck did a weird thing. It does that just randomly. You can't control every single thing about the truck.
You're in a little arena. You got a really stupid setup in arenas with
everyone in the comments seems to believe it's the RII. It's the tech's fault.
The RII guy as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I wasn't there, so I don't know. That's what happened. So
we weren't there. We haven't talked to Cody either, but we definitely got his back on this one. Truck took a weird hop. RII guys should have been ready. They've been freaking trigger happy all year anyways. This is one situation that they could have been heroes in, and instead this happened. Now you got building damage. Now you got the internet going crazy. Really, it's just the higher-ups of field going crazy. Going to give Cody a hard time about all this, and they shouldn't. So, Cody, if you're listening, we love you. And we all got your back on this one. Now, the rest of this action at this show actually looked pretty freaking good. This is the
Little Rock, Arkansas.
But this is the East Tour.
This is the East Tour, yeah. They only had 2 shows, but John Zim and Zach Garner filled in for those couple spots because, those couple spots are open. So they just have fill-in drivers. And then Weston Anderson just, dominated the weekend with winning both the overalls for Show 1 and for Show 2.
How crazy is it to see him kind of come into his own piloting Gravedigger and going out and winning? I mean, none of us predicted that. And it's not that we didn't predict that he would ever be a good driver, but being a good driver this early in his young career is almost unheard of. But again, he is an Anderson. That doesn't look good. Spitting out a bunch of flames right there.
That's not going to stop him from driving, though.
I guess not. Hope they get that figured out,
going.
though. That's such a good-looking truck, though. I've really loved this year what they've done with the headlights and the rims on that truck. I think they finally got the right combination for the rims. I personally am not a big fan of black rims, and I know you had that for a while. Reed Mahone out there driving reckless, putting on a good show for the fans. Those were your Little Rock highlights. Where are we headed to next?
Let's go to Too Tall's hometown show.
Hometown.
Portland, Oregon.
David. There he
There's
is.
David missing a part of his body.
Oh, David. Had a boy. You know, at one point they were outlawing bicycles in arenas, and now that's really making.
Because you know why? People are getting bored of doing the same thing in arenas. So
Yeah.
they're trying something different.
Yep. See, that jump right there is very similar to what happened to Cody. He just happened to take a weirder hop and take. I mean, that right there, that could have been disastrous. And it's like, honestly, trucks just take weird hops in arenas. But this tour
Check
right here,
out what Bernard did. This is a cool little move here, and just gonna leave it right there. Yep.
Just gonna leave it,
Just
huh?
gonna leave it there.
Oh, okay. All right, that was interesting. You think he got shut off?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I wonder if he got shut off there. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, they shut him off there, but
Yeah.
couldn't help out our other guy.
Then Brandon Vincent doing a cool little move.
This tour is
and
no
over.
shortage of freaking action. These guys are on it everywhere. I mean, this is a very competitive tour. And then is Brad Allen driving Nitro Menace
I
here?
believe so, yes.
Very nice. That was a sweet move.
Now, Tristan took the first overall, and then Brandon Vincent took home the second and third overall of the weekend. And Too Tall did come out with a freestyle win. So, hometown show got to come out with a win.
Oh, you knew he was going to.
Mm-hmm.
That's a show he's been waiting for, I mean, ever since he was a kid, going to Portland and putting on a show for the hometown. I know he had his family there, so shout out Too Tall. We love you, man. Glad you had a great weekend. Harley Joe, what's next?
Well, there was only one stadium show for Monster Jam this weekend. It was in El Paso, Texas.
Tejas. This is a cool move. I don't know if we've ever seen this happen before. That was weird. I appreciated it, though. Paul Jensen airing the freaking truck out, rolling over.
it.
And Harley, you had kind of made it a point that the Gravediggers were taking over this past weekend.
They are. There is currently a digger that holds, the number one spot in the points for every single tour except for Stadium Tour Red, which Tom Mentz holds the lead in that one.
That is correct. Diggers.
And I believe Adam is in third on the points.
Yeah.
I couldn't be mistaken. I think Todd's behind Tom, and then Adam's behind Todd.
Might be right on that. I know it's been like that for a little while, so it's probably still like that. Oh, look at this Hoonigan truck go. Craig Champion going for a wild ride in El Paso. This is a really fun show to go to. I mean, at least crew at anyways. Very, very windy there for most of the shows. I don't know if it was that way this past weekend, but you're basically doing a show in a big freaking wind tunnel the whole time there. But what I thought was really cool, and we may have passed this already, but the crowd just looked freaking electric at the show. Everybody looked like they were excited to see a show, like they were happy. At one point, you saw Son of a Digger doing a cool move. We may have passed it already, and the crowd just go freaking ham. They were jumping up, doing the wave. Everybody was excited, and you want to see that. You want to see the crowds finally get back, being a part of the shows. I know there's not been a show here in a extremely long time, so I'm glad. And yeah, you may see what I'm talking about here with the crowd going crazy.
Now, I do like when you go on everything Monster Jam related, it is officially now Son of a Digger, powered by Hoonigan on
Powered by
everything.
Powered by Hoonigan. There was a lot of chit-chat this past week, and people were talking about that. Oh, look at that. He lost a tire. I bet it hit the wall. Tyler Meninga out here absolutely dominating. He's having a great season, which is another one of our, I guess, failed predictions from this past
I know, we got
quarter.
that wrong.
Got that one wrong, but Camden Murphy doing me really good.
Yeah.
Doing me good with some points over here at the Leduc Leapers. Greg Champion going for a ride again, trying to save it. Press Perez having a first quarter, got the big learning curves on a very competitive tour and having a lot. It seems to be having a lot of fun anyways. I'm super proud of that guy and happy for him. Oh, my word. Trying to take the whole front housing out.
Now this,
Holy crap.
this might be really loud, but just listen.
Listen to the
Listen.
RPMs.
Just listen to this moment. I had to replay that so many times.
Go back once more. Go back once more and crank up the volume even louder because this is awesome. Yeah, make it even louder. You go. Listen.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my word. Yeah, I bet that didn't feel good either.
No, I bet it didn't.
Bet he got his bell rung. Not that hasn't ever happened with
Yeah.
Jim Kohler before, but I bet he definitely got his bell rung there.
Now, you'd think, by Ryan going out there and just putting on a crazy performance that he'd win everything. But it was Tyler that, took home most of the wins from this weekend in El Paso. Yeah.
Wow. Is Frosty Boys down in the comment section right now?
He
That's awesome. Oh my
is.
word. That was my. No, it just
break.
keeps going. Oh my word. Whew. Man. Those Boar Crew guys out there. You got Anthony Maynard out there crewing for Tyler Meninga, who's actually been a really big fan of Tyler Meninga. And then I think they work really well together. I think the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the fruit that those two can work together. They make a good team. Tyler is, I'm assuming, second on his tour.
Yes.
He's second,
He is.
obviously
But
followed
I
by.
think Brian has a pretty big lead, so I don't know if he can catch up at this point.
He's probably got it wrapped up. Not gonna lie, and that's a tough tour, Harley. We've talked about all the drivers on that tour.
Both the stadium tours are really tough tours. Like once you're in a spot, you're pretty much in that spot.
No, they are.
And it's hard to get out of.
I mean, when you go to these stadium shows, like you said, there's no shortage of action, and it's so competitive. Though, I mean, it's so unfortunate that somebody has to be in last place, that somebody has to be down there at the bottom of the list because all those trucks are so good. These are stacked tours. It's so weird to see, these lineups just be so competitive. It's like, we went from having, 4 stadium tours and now they're all crunched up into 2 tours. And maybe that'll change next year. Maybe they'll kind of spread the wealth a little bit. But, I mean, it keeps it so that, you got guys out there really trying their best, guys and girls. Kayla out there. Bless her heart on her first full blown out stadium tour. She is trying like hell, doing extremely well in racing.
She's doing pretty good in the points.
She's
is not last, so she's doing pretty good, in her first stadium tour.
I think she's doing great. I'm not going to lie. I think she's doing awesome. We got a guest joining us here in just a minute.
He's trying to join us. Our next guest of the show. Our
next guest is joining us. While we're waiting on our next guest to join us, let's kind of speculate a little bit. I don't think we've talked about this just yet. We saw James Trentina put out there on the interwebs that they have bought more trucks now. Now, I was up there this past weekend. This past week, okay?
Every week it's a new truck.
I saw the shop. No, I'm not going to lie. It's awesome. This is badass. However, starting to run out of room. They have got more trucks coming. They have got, I guess, 4 more trucks coming out. And I'm walking through that shop. I'm going, well, I guess you could squeeze 4 more trucks in there if you move some stuff around.
Or maybe just build another shop.
Build another shop, James. You know what I mean by that? Build another shop.
He knows exactly what we're talking about.
Knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Now, we do have a comment. What happened to Brodozer and, I guess, Bro Camino?
So,
isn't this a subject that we kind of fell into yesterday? Just happened to see on social media.
Well, I'll let you kind of lead us into that because
you know as much as I do about it.
Yeah, but you do some talking. I say too many things.
You say just the right amount of things.
Sure, but what were we reading up on though?
Well, I don't know how I got on his page, but I was on Heavy D's Instagram, and he had posted a clip of him and Brodozer, and I guess they were kind of left out of the loop as well. If Brodozer and Bro Camino were coming back, it was just kind of, well, COVID happened and you guys aren't coming back. You didn't make the list kind of thing. And they were just kind of left out of it. And they want to see Brodozer and Bro Camino back in Monster Jam just as much as the fans do. So,
and I'm not going to lie, I thought it was extremely weird to read
and
up
they're very
on
open about it on social media, how they, weren't involved in the decision making or anything. Or
this is just my 2 cents.
This
is just my 2 cents. I don't know this. I've not even heard this from anybody. This isn't even a rumor. It's just what you and I have actually put together. Harlan and I have gathered that when you drive for a company like Feld Entertainment, or another example, you are an entertainer in any form of the entertainment and live entertainment, especially. A lot of your political views got to be kept under wraps. It's not something you can be very vocal about, which the Diesel brothers are the exact opposite. Okay. They stay true to their colors. They do not hide who they are for anybody. And they have been very open with their political views, their stance on whatever the vaccine, the election, so on and so forth. You think maybe that had a role to play in? Maybe you felt like, hey,
that could have had a role, but then there was also, we don't have the Diesel Brothers show anymore. They have their own thing going on YouTube. So was there a relationship between Discovery and Monster Jam? And then when they don't have their show anymore, there's no, relationship anymore between Discovery and Monster Jam. That probably has a lot to do with it, if I had to guess.
They spent so much time and money into building the diesel truck, which they had basically fine-tuned when we were out on tour. They were just getting the hang of that puppy. And obviously the world got shut down. I don't know. I think it's a big waste of time and resources to not bring them back. Don't get me wrong, y'all. And I was right there. I'm still right there with a lot of y'all.
didn't even run for a full year. Just had a 1 quarter, and that was it.
I'm still right there with a lot of people thinking like, look, these guys only got the opportunity to drive just because they're celebrities. And y'all, I freaking get that. So many good guys and gals in this industry have busted their ass to get a driving spot, and those guys just walk in because they're celebrities and they get a spot. I get it, okay? I will say this, though. To their credit, towards the end of the 2020 tour, they were really starting to pick it up, though. They were really starting to get up there in the points from well-deserved runs.
I could tell they're really genuine, and they really do want to try.
They do.
And, get more skill at it, be more skilled at it. So, they're not just there just to fill a spot for the night. They actually want to go out there and have fun and put on a show.
You could tell a huge difference in the way they started 2020 versus the way they ended. They were getting much better at driving. So it is weird, like you said, that it was like, I guess they didn't even get a call back from the way they made it look like on their social media. They didn't get a call back, not a hey, how you doing? Nothing. And then we saw Thor comment the same thing. Yeah. Hey, we all got cut. I ain't even got a call back. I don't know why it's been like that for some people, but it just has been. And right now they're hurting for really good people. You think they bring them back, but I don't know.
You think that would maybe bring more people to shows, having a kind of celebrity, type drivers? Wouldn't that bring more people to come to the show? More people to buy tickets? More people to come to Pit Party just to be able to stand 6 feet from them?
I know firsthand it did. I watched freaking...
There were people waiting just to wait an hour in line just to meet them for like a minute. Like, that's all they wanted to do was come and meet them. They could care less about anybody else.
Your grandma was one of them.
Brooke and my grandma.
Brooke Pag and your grandma was one of them. I was going to say something else about them as well, but I don't know. Maybe they'll be back at some point. Maybe not. Maybe they'll just start their own damn team. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll start their own team. Maybe they can start their own league as well. I don't know. That'd be pretty sweet.
Maybe.
But y'all, we have got somebody muted on the other end right now. We're getting ready to bring him on. Are we good to bring him on now? Or
I could try and see if it works.
We could try.
Let's see.
Try to bring on our guest over here. We're going to switch camera over to
Hey, guys. Oh, my gosh. Just in the nick of time, too. Also, like my new Fudge Packer shirt from Uranus.
All right, Uranus Fudge Packers. Yeah.
Oh, man. So we currently just stopped in Valdosta, Georgia. We've been on the road for about 14, 15 hours, and we're going to be heading to Orlando tomorrow. So I figured take what little time I had and hang out with you guys. So
I want to get started with a topic right here, Spence. I want to know what you got to think about this. So we put on our thumbnail for tonight, the Gravediggers have been taking over. They've been doing a really good job. And then the driver of the world famous Gravedigger, I would say of most likely the main Gravedigger truck, Adam Anderson, commented on our post and said, I don't know what y'all are talking about. I've really only made like 3 full freestyles this year. Spence, he's been having a hard time this year with the truck just staying put together. And I know Jeff Sinn's been busting his ass. It's been extremely frustrating for Team Gravedigger on that stadium tour. What are your thoughts on that? Is that something you think they could get corrected, that Adam can get back up in the points hut, kind of be up there a little bit closer with both Tom and Todd? Is it too far gone in the season? What are you thinking?
Well, I need to look at the series point standings to kind of see where exactly Adam is at right now with point standings, but I know for a fact that he's definitely got to be struggling. And the thing is, I really thought that this stadium tour was really going to be his to kind of just run away with this year. That's why I picked him for Team PP. And I don't think it's anything that has to do with him. I feel like it's just the lack of help. It's the there's a lot of variables to kind of think about. You know, we've talked about before where it's like they're having a hard time keeping crew guys. I feel like Adam's tour is also the same tour that they're jumbling between doing stadium and they're jumbling doing arenas. So it's like you have these stadium guys. They're also being told to go over to do arenas to put on an arena caliber event, which also tears up trucks. It may not seem like on the big scale like stadiums, but in the smaller scale, you look at planetaries, you look at transmissions, you look at all sorts of other nooks and crannies that really take a strain in arena shows, it adds up. So I feel like in a lot of forms of motorsports, there's a big part shortage. So maybe Adam has to kind of take it easy, which is hard to think of considering it is a Gravedigger truck. But parts are just hard to come by. I mean, a lot of people in drag racing even have the same issue where it's like we're having a hard time getting parts. You know, we have to reuse a lot of stuff just to kind of go on and make it to the next round. So I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with Adam. I don't think it has anything to do with Jeff. I just feel like it's just there's not that much when it comes to what's available for the equipment to take the kind of abuse that a Gravedigger is known for doing to a truck.
I mean, I really like this comment over here by Josh Baumgartner, who's the foreman up there at Triple B Motorsports. It just goes to show you, no matter what equipment you have, shit happens. And being a good crew guy, it does make the biggest difference. But it's like at this point in time, y'all, this is extremely difficult for any form of motorsports, really. And I don't know. I guess a lot of people thought we'd never see the light of day when even Team Gravedigger would be struggling just to keep a truck together or keep their truck up in the points lead because we think that truck's invincible. We think company trucks are invincible, Spence. You and I both know, okay, and this is kind of going off topic, but we compare the independents to company trucks. You and I both know, Spence, it's not exactly every day that the company drivers just get to run on up to Paxton and test, or they roll out with the best of the best. I mean, they have a lot of available resources to them, but coming down to it, sometimes you just got to make the decision to roll with what you got, and you hope on a wing and a prayer you can make it. And sometimes you don't. You come up short. You're breaking parts, breaking hearts in the process. It's been an extremely difficult first quarter for Gravedigger. I hope they can get their shit fixed. I hope they can get the
I think
truck
apart
rolling.
from equipment breaking, he's got big competition. I mean, do you see Todd and Tom these last couple shows just airing out the trucks and completely destroying the trucks?
Well, that's another thing, and I mean, Cooper. I hate to say it because Cooper talks about this all the time, but the ZF housings can take the abuse. Everything else outside of a Anderson truck, unless they changed it, Andersons typically run a galleon style housing, which is usually a little bit wider to kind of have a little bit more track width on a truck when it's making the turns. So unless they're still running galleon stuff on Adam and Ryan stuff, which that's a little bit harder to find rather than just typical Clark parts and whatnot on a typical CRD truck, I feel like that may have to play into another factor. It's just literally finding parts, or if they just gave the sudden change to Adam, it's like, hey, we're changing everything over to Clark, or basically everything that everyone else is running, regular Patrick housings or XD housings, whatever. So it may be an adjustment, but who knows? Honestly, I think it's just the simple fact that there's not enough help there. Like we heard a while ago that Tom actually jumped in and did a transmission change for an independent team, which is unheard of. Like having a driver jump in to help work on a truck is a big no-no in the eyes of the company. They don't want their superstars to get their fingers dirty because they basically want A-list celebrities piloting a truck that gets destroyed every weekend. They don't want greasy mechanics, but in reality, greasy mechanics usually are the best drivers. So I think it's just a lot to do with just the equipment's not there. There's not enough crew guys, not enough help, and Jeff honestly might be extremely stressed out. He might just need the help that he rightfully deserves, because let's be honest, when all this happened and they let all those guys go, there's a lot of veteran crew guys that knew what they were doing that got thrown out the door. Yeah. And Jeff is one of the few guys that got to stay. And a lot of these veteran crew guys are spread out across all these other different tours trying to help out all these other new guys. So on top of Jeff having to keep an A-list truck at its A game, he's probably also having to teach all these other crew guys what to do in order to keep their trucks in tip-top shape, on top of juggling stadium and arenas with a gravedigger. Jeff Sin, if you need a keg of beer, let me know.
We'll send a care package. But Tom Mintz now the only truck out there leading on a tour, leading in the point series, the only non-gravedigger truck. Weston finally taking the lead over there on the East Tour. And to everybody's surprise, Brandon Vincent is winning out there on the West Tour, a little bit over Tristan England, which blows my mind seeing the crazy shit that Tristan England's coming up with over there. His TikToks are obviously unreal as well. The guy is all in this year, but Brandon Vincent is still finding a way to win. Isn't that your guy out there on the West Arena Tour, Spence? Isn't that Brandon Vincent?
No, Coop has him.
Oh, Coop has him?
Yeah.
I have Tristan. I have Tristan on
Yeah,
that
he
tour.
has Tristan.
That's right.
Which he keeps getting screwed over by Gravedigger, so.
Another controversial topic that we've got rolled down over here is there are still a lot of tickets left for World Finals. Now, Harley, do you think that's because there's just not enough hype for the World Finals? You think maybe the ticket prices are just too unreal? Spence, you got something you want to say about that as well?
I agree with both those statements. It's overpriced that, this is their big ticket event every year, and they don't have the momentum to carry into their biggest event of the year. Nor do I think that they really have enough equipment to handle a World Finals caliber event, but honestly, who knows?
Well, as of today, we have 74 days left till Monster Jam World Finals, the first World Finals.
So a little over 2 months.
First World Finals since 2019. It should be a big one. We should be having sold out seats there. Everybody in Orlando should be pumped.
Do you think because of what happened last time in Orlando with the whole weather situation about pausing the show and waiting, what was it, like an hour before they got everything back up again, and maybe 25% of everyone stayed?
I mean, if you want to do a World Finals in Orlando, okay. April, May is really not the time to do it there, though. I mean, that's when
that's the worst month to do an event
your summer
like that.
weather's starting to roll in at that point. You got to go a little bit earlier than that. First quarter used to go January through March, and then they started making the tours longer. It's like, okay, maybe if you just went, you took the number of tours you have right now, you multiplied it by 2, you cut your show dates in half.
Yeah.
Maybe you get back to having your World Finals in March, and you could have it in Orlando, and people would enjoy it. Probably wouldn't be as hot. You wouldn't have the stupid love bugs racing around and flying in your nose, flying in your mouth, and you wouldn't have to be dealing with all that. It'd be different. Orlando's a fun place to be. I totally get why they moved it there. However, the time of the year.
But there's also one thing about World Finals that makes it different from every other thing, is the giant pit party that you get to have at World Finals with all of the drivers. Now, is COVID going to be affecting World Finals this year? And the pit party is going to be cut in half, and you still can't go up to drivers, or still got to be that distance. So there's going to be a bunch of activities missing. That's what people love about going to the pit party right at 11 a.m. to 3 or 4 o'clock until the show starts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Spencer.
Yeah, I just feel like it's not going to be good, because if you look at the way pit party has been for here, let me move so you don't have to see my coworker on his phone in the background. But yeah, it's just the pit party has honestly been struggling pretty bad with Monster Jam, and you don't have the freedom to walk around. You have to stand in a queue line for every single truck, and you don't get to go up and show them anything. They have pre-signed merchandise. It takes a lot of the fun of what makes a Monster Jam show which it's struggling. So I feel like you're going to see a lot of people, especially after what happened in 2020 or 2019 with how hot it was. I feel like a lot of people are just going to save their money and not go to the World Finals pit party. If anything, they'll probably promote it as if it's they're probably going to promote it using old footage before pandemic, saying that, it was one of the biggest pit parties we ever had, but actually if you were there, you'd realize it's there's maybe 100 people that showed up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you got a guy in the comment section right now, Tommy Evans II, saying that COVID's not going to affect it. It's just not Vegas, which I know you are really big on that boat.
I loved Vegas. I wish it stayed in Vegas. I
Yeah.
mean, everything about it, just like being right there next to Vegas. You know, Monster Jam's over. Go over there and party and have a good time. Go to Monster Jam
Now-
the next day. Do it again.
This isn't public knowledge. This has just been rumors floating around the rumor mill. Rumor has it World Finals will not be in Orlando next year, though.
thank God.
Yeah.
Take it somewhere a little bit. If it's going to stay in May, take it somewhere that's a little bit more up north to where when summer weather is rolling in, it's not nearly as hot.
I
That's all I
think
gotta
that's
say.
probably the motive there
Yeah.
is to
Yeah, I
get
got
away
mine. Bring them
from
downstairs.
the southeastern the weather, the southeastern climate. I'm assuming they're going to keep it in May, April, something like that. But,
yeah, I think they're pretty stuck on keeping the season or the first quarter longer now. And having
if you're watching tonight, where would you like to see them move the World Finals to next? Rumor has it they're not going back to Vegas. Going to be going somewhere else. Where do y'all think they're going to take it? Because I know that for a while, Spence, people were thinking that they were going to move the World Finals to East Rutherford and go up there for the first World Finals outside of Vegas. Obviously, since being in Vegas for a very long time. I know when Monster Jam was first doing their World Finals, or what they were calling the World Finals, I believe anyway, or their World Championship, I think. They were doing those in like St. Louis and other places. So, I mean, they're capable of being put somewhere else. They could do special tracks as well. Doesn't necessarily have to be the Vegas style racing, or this year they're going to do the over and under. They're proving they can change their tracks up a little bit. But what are y'all thinking down in the comment section? Yeah, somebody else is saying East Rutherford. That'd be a good one. Somebody saying Glendale, because Glendale has the biggest floor space out there. Y'all hear me?
And it's air conditioned. Oh my gosh, the air conditioning inside that stadium was amazing, but working outside was awful.
That would be sweet.
So actually, there's one thing I wanted to bring up, and actually one of my good coworkers actually kind of brought this up, just kind of as the whole of the monster truck industry. And he was telling me, he said, because we went to that toughest show, he had a blast. We were having a good time just watching the show, even though it was 6 trucks. He's like, man, this is more fun than the Monster Jam show that we went to all those years ago. I said, yeah, exactly, because this is the true essence of monster trucks, and Monster Jam is a show. Now, here's the thing that he brought up that is actually something that I actually kind of got to think on for a minute, and that's a word that we need to get rid of in the monster truck community as a whole, and that is the word show.
Yes.
We need to stop using monster truck show, because saying it is a show is like the equivalent of going to like a Broadway show. It is just it's not an event. It's not a race. It's not something to the caliber of like a NASCAR event or an NHRA event or your local circle track, whatever. It is viewed as a show. You get in, you watch, you're entertained for a couple of hours, and you leave. An event, which the only thing that Monster Jam has as a whole that is close to that caliber of an event that is an all-day ordeal, is the World Finals. I think it'd be awesome, because the only person I know of that is essentially going into trying to get that transition with monster trucks as a whole, and I'm wearing one of his hats, and that's Joe Sylvester. Because if you look at different forms of motorsports and different forms of racing, there are classes, and I know some people do not care for having different classes of monster trucks, but if you think about it, way back in the day, one thing a lot of people enjoy going to, including in the Jamboree series, was tough trucks. Why did that go away? Is it just an insurance thing? Is it a liability thing? Is the interest for someone who just has a beat-up Ford Ranger or whatever in their backyard that wants to go drive around in a monster truck show, is that just gone? Does nobody want to do that anymore? You go to the mud truck guys. You got a bunch of mud trucks that are running around with different events throughout the country, which are awesome events, but they don't do anything with at a monster truck level event. I mean, it's seeing what Joe is wanting to do, where it's like you have different classes. You have different classes of monster truck racing to move through an entire event, to where it's not just a hurry up, get in, watch a show for a couple hours, and leave. It's a full-blown event. You have different classes, different people to root for. I feel like we really need to start gearing that direction, including the mega truck guys. They're fast. They're crazy fast machines. I love the idea of having the 48-inch class. I feel like we need to develop that a little bit more, because those tires are actually really heavy compared to a 66. But I just think as a whole, we really need to start dropping Monster Truck Show. I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
Well, I think it all kind of stems back to what we had talked to a few weeks ago. Look, I think everything in a big Monster Truck Show, a big primetime event, revolves 110% around sponsors. You got to have good, big-time sponsors. What do sponsors want? They want their product, they want their investment to work and come back to, put money back into their company, right? So they're not necessarily losing money. Might be able to use it as a tax write-off, but they really need that money to come back to them. So if a company's going to invest $1 million, they want at least $1.5 million back for it to be worth their time.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they're going to want even more than that. How do you get that investment back? How do you get that return on investment? You got to have TV time. Who's the only tour out there right now who has legit TV time? I say legit TV time in quotes because they're really jacking up this deal. But that's Monster Jam, okay? So I really honestly think it's going to take some independents stepping up their game. Maybe some teams like Triple B Motorsports. Maybe some leagues like the, what am I thinking, Monster Truck Throwdown, like the Outlaw Drags, like some other top-tier teams like maybe Matt Motorsports as well. Getting some big-time sponsors, investing more into their brand to get that TV time, to get that limelight. That's where your sponsorships are going to come from. That's where your big time money is going to come from. Mm-hmm. I think that's what's hurting our sport the most right now is not having that TV time. Monster trucks are still great. You can't tell me that you couldn't send a person to a show and that they wouldn't have a great time. Come to one show, you'll see what we're talking about. It's awesome. But our sport lacks so much direction and that stems from not being guided by. I mean, the money's got to follow it. The money has to be there. That's what makes the whole motorsports world tick. That's what makes NSRA. That's what makes NASCAR. That's what makes Supercross so flippin' popular. It all comes back to having big time, prime time sponsors. I think, Spence, there's a few teams out there, just from what I've been hearing, not going to spill any names out there, might be able to get their hands and get some good sponsors backing them, whether they're going to create their own team or their own tour. Maybe they're going to create their own team and go race for Monster Jam. And the independents really have been stepping up their games in the last couple of years, Spence. Harley, we know that. What if they did it even bigger? What if we saw these big primetime sponsors come to the independents? Then every other independent has an opportunity to step up their game. Hey, we're out on tour with this team. We're out on tour with, using them as an example, with John Gordon's Bad Company, and they're sponsored by Coca-Cola, okay? So now we want to get Pepsi as our sponsor. We want to run against them. You got to get rid of the stupid non-compete clauses at Monster Jam. But I think coming back, you got to get the sponsors to follow. The sponsors want the TV time. We need that back in Monster Trucks. Into rant.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's what they want to see. Sponsors want to be seen and represented competing against other sponsors. There are, I want to say, 3 big tool companies in AHRA that compete against each other. We obviously have Mac Tools, you got Snap-on, and then you also have John Force with Cornwell. At least I think it's John Force. Someone else might be running with Cornwell Tools. But you literally have those sponsors competing against one another. And this whole non-compete clause, explain this to me. Monster Jam now has the Renegade Fuel sponsorship, right? Why, if there's a non-compete clause, unless it's only within the company with their trucks, why are we seeing a bunch of independents running Redline Oil, VP Racing Fuels? Like, those sponsorships are done with Monster Jam and they're going to independents, or at least they're just being represented on independents. I'm not sure if there's actually any exchange other than just through product exchange amongst the teams. But regardless, that whole non-compete clause, that's ridiculous. Like, I would have loved to see Rockstar, Red Bull, or whoever have a truck to compete against Monster Energy. I think that would just add more to the sport as a whole.
You're absolutely right, dude. Our sport needs that. That's what our sport is lacking right now. It's true competition. It's sponsor versus sponsor. It's the manufacturer's cup is what they call it. It's Supercross. It's tallying up all the sponsors at the end, all the big manufacturers, all their points at the end of the season, who had the better product at the end of the year. That's what our sport is lacking. I'm telling you, people would lose their flipping mind, Spence, if they saw Rockstar versus Monster Energy and Monster Trucks. It would bring so much excitement back to the sport. Whether that's in Monster Jam or another independent league, I don't really think that matters. But what does matter is, like I said, we got to get the limelight back into Monster Trucks. Got to get more people interested. The big TV companies, it's got to be there. I don't think there'd be a big deal or a big fuss if a tour wanted to take a risk and start their own YouTube channel for their tours, okay? Maybe you did a YouTube tour and you use that to get sponsors, draw a lot of traction, draw a lot of attention there to your YouTube channel. Next thing you know, you've got 2 million followers on your YouTube just from guys driving monster trucks. There'd be plenty of freaking money right there wrapped up in sponsorships and YouTube funds right there. So, I mean, that's another avenue to take, something else to ponder on. I don't know. We're running at 1 hour and 6 right now. Spence, I'm glad you got to hop on with us and hang out with us for a few minutes. Talking to Jerry Beck, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was listening in the van. I was listening. I was so mad because I know we've been wanting to get him to come on for a while, and I'm mad that I got to miss that interview point. But that's just, it's so cool to know that it was just a 2x4 wooden concept of Quad Chaos in his garage. It is now everybody loves the truck. Everybody loves seeing a giant quad. And, you know, I know the BeamNG guys, they had a blast, you know, recreating his trucks in the game. And then you also have people that now could get a hold of those trucks via diecast now. So what a ride it's been for him with DCT Power Sports and the amount of success that he's had. I just wish some of these independents had bigger t-shirts that I could buy.
I found out this past weekend that Joe Sylvester has 4X t-shirts. Okay, I know that firsthand because I saw it. I'll make sure you go support Joe Sylvester in the High Octane Coffee Bad Habit Relapse and like this damn video. I say it every week. And Coop's not here to bitch ever. Actually, here's Coop. No,
That's not Coop.
I was gonna say that ain't me. That is an insult.
I don't know.
Why'd you do that?
I didn't do anything.
Here,
Why you switch it to me?
Hold on.
Nope.
Do you have
Why
a
is it not
soundboard
going?
of Coop?
Stop.
That's weird.
You can't do it. Moment's over.
Oh, I was trying to show Coop's blank page, but it goes to Spence for some reason. Coop would be freaking out. Like the freaking video. Way too many people to be watching and I like this video. Please like, share, and subscribe our videos, y'all. Help us out. Help us reach our goals this year. Y'all see us going out. We're venturing out. We're going places. We're doing stuff. Everything y'all put into us, we're giving it right back. We promise. Go to our merch store. Buy our merch. Please help support us. Spence, you got anything before we wrap up here?
Honestly, I'm honestly just really humbled that I still get to hang out with you guys, even though I'm being thrown around the country right now with drag racing, and this is just a lot of fun. I love that we have this banter. I love the community that we have, and honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing what this year brings, whether in drag racing or monster trucks. I know we here on the Throttle Out Show, we have some big plans ahead in the near future for us, and I'm looking forward to it. But other than that, I love every single one of you guys in the comment section, even though I know I piss off quite a bit of you every time I'm on the show. But I guess everybody else is wanting to go watch wrestling now. You know, they say Monster Jam's fake, yet they hear people are watching grown men in tights throw each other off the top rope. So.
I know, man. I know. This isn't the Attitude era anymore. It makes me sad. But y'all, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Please like, share, subscribe. Coop, we missed you tonight. Jerry Beck, once again, DCT Power Sports owner and team driver. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Y'all, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you go give Bad Habit. And who else am I thinking of here? Brandon Overmeyer with the American Outlaw Diesel Monster Truck. Go show him some love as well. Go check out the Frosty Boys. Check out Big Time Vids. And we'll be seeing y'all in the next one. Remember, when in doubt, throttle out and peace out, y'all.